chairs and
Yeah.
right there. I think that's the
spot. This one's this big. Midwest Fur Fest is this big.
That's what they said. Yeah.
Sit right on right there. As we mess with the Velcro straps, go ahead and give me a sound check.
Yeah, what do you want me to talk about for your sound check? Like looking at this goofy camera and...
Introduce yourself.
Well, my name's Tyler. I'm the brother of a staff member here at Indy Fur Con, traveling from Seattle to come check it out. Yeah, it's been a blast so far.
You're too tall.
You want a second phone?
Housekeeping.
The wallet's full.
It's a nice beefy wallet.
It's all receipts too. So, there we go. Now I can sit next to you. We can kind of talk at the camera, or I can stay here.
I'd prefer to not be the center of attention.
But you are.
But I am.
Oh yes, let's see. Yeah, it'll work. It'll work.
Sweet.
Okay. Sound levels seem good. Everything else seems well. Welcome to temporarily named everything and anything and nothing and all those other things. We are changing the name of the show. Again, this is Tyler. And, well, we're here to find out what his first impressions of, not even first. What would be your first impression?
First impression of con, I never really have been to a fandom convention proper at all, and especially not a furry convention. However, it's not my first introduction to furry as a subculture. My brother's a staff member here, and he's been a furry for quite some time now. I honestly don't remember when he came out to me. And then my best friend up in Seattle area is also a furry, so I'm familiar with the fandom, but not the convention.
So, did you have any expectations?
That's almost a loaded question, isn't it? So
they'll all be loaded, I'm sure.
Right. And unfortunately, I am not. The joke. Yeah, so coming from Seattle area, I of course had heard a loaded question, isn't it? So they'll all be loaded. I won't say failed, but conventions that happened and then no longer happen up there. So I kind of sort of had a bit of an expectation set up for that. However, I also knew that was kind of an outlier what happened at Rainforest. Didn't expect that kind of chaos and insanity to occur here, but beyond that, no, I had seen some panels about some of the more popular, or like, I don't know, celebrity, like I've seen a bit of Uncle Kage talking on YouTube, and
for those in the audience who don't know, Uncle Kage is a stand-up comedian whose main profession is he's a chemist. I think that about sums it up.
Yeah. He's quite the stage presence, and so he's one of the people that my brother sent to me to check out before coming.
Try to soften the blow, you would say?
Yeah.
All right, well, the convention's almost over. We're getting ready to go to the closing ceremonies. For those who don't know, this is IFC, and they raise money for local groups. This particular group's name is
EARPS?
EARPS, which is an acronym which I'll find that out later and may or may not tell you about. It's a local animal rescue and sanctuary place. They do a lot of things. Of course, everybody knows vet bills are expensive. They rehabilitate, they find homes, they take care of all sorts of animals. As a matter of fact, they just had an auction earlier today where they had paintings made by said animals. So all the money that this convention raises will be going to them, and in about a half hour we'll find out how much it is. Last year it was $4,000 a year, but that's still a lot.
Didn't expect that.
$1,000.
Wow.
But enough about
Yeah,
him.
no, I had seen some panels about some of the
What stands out most for this convention?
Oh, gee.
Celebrity, I've seen a
Uh,
bit of
Honestly, I wasn't prepared. I was excited for this and enjoyed it.
stand-up comedian.
Would be walking around, so it's kind of like switching between
Yeah, he's quite the stage presence.
and masked to like just
Yeah,
larger
so
than life cartoon
masks.
characters. Yeah, that's been pretty wild, pretty fun. Got a couple of pictures with permission to memorialize that. Also, it seems that a lot of the panelists are very close with each other and have a lot of inside jokes, and that's been really fun and well, outstanding about the community is that they're very.
I definitely agree. There's a ton of inside information and inside jokes. I don't even know. I don't even have an inkling of scratching the surface of it.
Yeah.
But it's obvious there. Obviously there. This year I am actually kind of a staff member because they needed somebody to hold the camera. I guess it was. So what was your favorite suit so far?
I don't even know what species of animal they were, but it was a very technicolored dragon with kind of geometric patterns along them.
Oh,
and
the Day of the Dead figurine like thing. I can't think of the name of.
oh yeah.
Insert undertitle here, which I'll probably forget to do too, because I got to upload this. Because normally we broadcast live, and this one's pre-recorded. Because guess what? I won't be anywhere near the studio to actually broadcast this. So I know which one you're talking about. It was, and the name will hit me as soon as I hit the stop button on the record.
Sure. Yeah. Very brightly colored, very pretty to look at. Yeah, that one's good. I actually did meet a fursuiter out of suit though, and struck up conversation with her, and I guess she was a high schooler student, but she had a mask made for her, but made the rest of her fursuit. And what was outstanding about her suit, she's making it herself, and I asked her at one point, like, so what are you going to do out of high school? That favorite high schooler question.
Right.
And she said that she wants to go into taxidermy, and she wants to go into producing fursuits and selling fursuits. I'm like, well, that's kind of...
I think there's a connection there.
Yeah, right? Like, there's probably some crossover in skills you would use.
Do you still hear the lambs, Clarice?
Yeah, I told her that she had better make sure that she keeps her workshop separate, just workshop spaces separate.
Yes.
That was the plan all along, was to take some time and
Yeah,
interview
that was
somebody.
kind of interesting. She told me that taxidermy would be kind of boring, doing the same thing day in and day out. And I guess this
She
is...
doesn't know much about taxidermy.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that this area, a lot of the people hunt deer around here. And,
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, that'll admit. You have your hunters out here, and they mostly go after deer, so that's what's going to get me a lot of. But people I know who are in taxidermy do more than just deer. They've done all sorts of animals that are within the legal
Remnants
limits.
of,
Yeah.
But just because they do a squirrel doesn't mean they weren't having fun with it.
Right.
I've seen, and you can actually order these. So if anybody wants to know, my better half actually has taxidermy. I know about all the stuff we get for.
I didn't even think about
those.
that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So they have like football poses or all these weird things. I'm not kidding. Dress it up like Sherlock Holmes. Buy the kit with the inside of the squirrel already in the position you want in some sort of comical fashion.
How
So,
bizarre. It's another world I'm not familiar with. I didn't even think about that weird connection. This high schooler that I met, her aunt was with her, and her aunt was an engineer, same as my brother. They both went to Purdue. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, those are weird kismet connections going on here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my good, most outstanding fursuit impressions.
Okay. Now, which is the worst?
The worst. Oh,
Now, it doesn't
God.
have to necessarily be poor craftsmanship. It could just been like something that was ridiculously creepy that was just wrong, or it could literally have been look like somebody took duct tape and like put eyes on it.
Well, there have been some pretty two-dimensional masks. Again, no judgment, but that seemed pretty interesting.
They made me think of South Park.
Yeah. So it is. Again, no judgment. Free expression is good. So, but yeah, that was kind of bizarre. Also, there's a lot of like I'm familiar-ish with kink communities, and I was surprised to see a lot of puff hoods around here. I did not. I thought that was a completely separate fandom or subculture.
From my understanding, yes and no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still its own thing, but it just blends really well into the furry community.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually went to a panel for that last night, 18 and up, of course. But I guess they weren't able to do that panel in previous years because of wanting to separate that and keep it a family-friendly con.
For those who want to know, yes, this is not the sexual exploits that you think they'll see online. This is an actual fandom where people do, some of the people who do this for careers. You know those mascots you make fun of at those sporting events? Furries. That's just a small example. But this whole convention caters to everyone. I think I've seen some really young kids here with their parents going to these panels. A lot of them are oriented towards them, especially the drawing and learning how that stuff works, the writing. I mean, it's the age. I would say I've seen them from 5 to almost 100 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So.
Yeah, that's another thing. The age range is surprising to me.
Yeah. Well, back to the funkiest one. Now, the Craftsman-wise, this was pretty neat. It was a well-printed, you know those full-body leotard things, the body masks? It was one of those, but printed to look like a tiger, and then he had plastic ears. What made it creepy was the extremely obvious human shape underneath it. It just looked like somebody literally just took a rubber tiger skin and put it on their face. It was one of those, and it was full body. Well, they were still wearing pants.
Yeah, they don't. Well, okay, yeah, good.
Yeah. Again, family friendly.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Oh, there goes the Spider-Man.
Yep. Because, you know, Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
All of you never knew Spider-Man was a furry. Doesn't have to be a fuzzy animal, because we have lizards, we have insects. There was 2 bees around earlier.
Oh, I missed the bees. I haven't seen. I guess Uncle Kage has
He's a cockroach.
Cockroach.
Yeah.
For some.
Yeah. And then there was the anglerfish.
What?
Anglerfish.
I've been wandering at the wrong hours. I guess I haven't seen.
This was at the dance contest, and they danced in this costume.
Did they have a light up bait?
Yes.
Bait.
They had this
bird?
little thing. It actually bounced off what would be your nose, and it was LED. Matter of fact, all the LED gimmicks out here are really neat. There was one fursuit who was out on the dance floor, and they just lit up the whole thing.
Oh, cool.
They didn't keep it going, unfortunately, because here I come around with a camera to get some footage of this, and they turn it off.
Yeah, of course.
Or the batteries ran out. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a fursuit around here that I don't know if it was their character name or it was just a fun pun, but it was Subwoofer, and it was Woof was a different font.
There's actually a couple. There's Beauty and the Bass, and they have literal speakers in their system, and you turn it on, backpacking everywhere they go. Most of these are subwoofers, so it's all that low frequency.
Full body massage suit.
Yes. As a matter of fact, Uncle Kage was talking about how he had a kidney stone removed through ultrasound. He should just put that suit on. Fine.
Yeah, that's. I'm impressed by how creative and how much effort is put into the fursuits that you see around here.
Oh yeah, as a lot of people say, this is very much an artist community. You have people who draw, people who want to draw, people who make all sorts of things. Everything from, okay, I don't know how to make a suit, but I'm going to make that suit mechanical in some way. I'm going to add electrical lights to it, signs, something, gizmos, to the person who actually can sculpt a realistic-looking face and make it a mask.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, people who are wearing most of this, their peripheral vision is like this. And that's not a joke. So you have to watch out and be careful for them, and don't assume they know where you're there because they are blind. So walking around the convention is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, a year and some change of practice avoiding people has helped with that.
And handlers.
Yeah,
Good handler.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know what handler is, yes, these people do need somebody to make sure they're not stepping off the stage, stepping into something, knocking somebody over,
Punting a
wall.
5-year-old.
Hunting the 5-year-old. We're not going to say that joke again because that one will go on. Yeah. You know that one, right?
No, is there an actual story behind that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There's a couple
no. Oh. Well, I didn't mean to be joking about something real. I was just...
Well, it's because you have these little kids. They see, oh, there's this fursuiter. I got to come up and hug, and boom, because they're walking and they can't see anything below their eyes. So if you're 5 years old, you can't see it. Which leads into an Uncle Kage joke, which I can't say online.
Gotcha.
Well, I can. I've said worse things. I know that. do my own moral aspects. I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you off camera though.
Fair. All right. Well, I'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else have I seen? Some really fun video games here, which is.
Are you talking Artemis?
Yeah, Artemis, and also
Yeah.
Floof, and you brought some.
Oh, Floof,
running
Okay.
running the open video game room and tournaments and whatnot.
So for those who want to know, yes, there is a whole room dedicated to video games. Last time I was here, they had a full VR setup. Do they have that this time?
No, I didn't see one, but
That was wicked.
there were some nice looking gaming rigs. I played some clone of Guitar Hero, and I played Guitar Hero maybe once or twice, but there's this welcoming furry who's putting on the rooms like, hey, do you want to try? I'm like,
Why not?
sure, yeah, heck yeah. And then I bombed the first run and then got a little bit better on the second one. So
Sweet. Did you actually go to the Artemis room and play that?
I played it once. I want to do it again, but I think we're gonna run out of time.
What
after
station did you take?
I was in charge of weapons, which actually lost us. Well, I don't know if it really lost us the game, but I shot a torpedo at someone who was surrendering and deleted their ship from the cosmos. And
Okay, for
That's
those,
a no-no.
this is a Star Trek-like simulator where you have a captain, shieldsman, helmsman, weapons op.
there's comms.
Each
Yeah.
one is played by an
Yeah,
individual
it's kinda
person,
bad.
which has to be controlled by.
Bad
Yeah.
Steel
I have
very
not
well.
had any time to go see
Well,
it.
phrase that was
It's a blast. Apparently, I'm addicted after playing it once and accidentally ruining the fun for everybody. But
I got to sit back in a room and watch it play once a few years ago, and I'm like, I got to get to this. And so every time I come to a convention that has that game, and we're talking, I think I saw it at Gen Con. I didn't get to go to that one. It's here again. I've been busy. I got an hour downtime. It's like, okay, I'm going to sit down for an hour. Okay, get back up. Which hasn't to say I haven't actually gone to any of the panels. I have been to a few
yeah,
outside the ones I was filming. So
yeah. What have been your favorite panels that you just haven't been able to sit in? Or
Corbin,
okay, well.
first one's
My
ready.
favorite one wasn't one that was filming, but I had to leave halfway through. They were talking about the Tumblr.
oh
Yeah. So some little girl in 2012, 2013, she's 15 years old at the time, decided she wanted to start this whole convention based on Tumblr. It got taken out of her hands. The people who did it rolled it in this huge ball of mess where they're like, 7,000 people are going to show up, and 350 people showed up.
yeah. It was an interesting bit of internet and con history, and
Yeah.
told well by some.
Yeah. And what was the nerdy muffins?
Oh yeah, I don't even remember why that was how that came.
They somehow they go on tangents, just like I do all the time, and they somehow got around to baking and being nerds and these nerdy muffins, and they're like, well, hey, let's trademark that. So I looked it up, and well, on Spotify there's this thing called Nerdy Muffins, and it turns out it was actually just somebody's profile,
Yeah.
not
Welcome,
an
buddy.
actual thing, but. You're going to do
Enjoy
a quick search and you actually get something that says listen to Nerdy Muffins on Spotify. You got to let everybody know.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Yeah, that was actually probably one of my favorite panels
Yeah.
too.
yeah,
It
but
was interesting.
I really would have liked to have been there. The panelists, there was Pandez, Alkali,
Electric Floof was there.
Electric Floof, and Jake Bunny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And those four people are really part of the core group of this con. They're the ones who hold this together, and they're all excellent comedians in their own right. Pandez from Canada, so he gets a lot of Ubuntu questions. Alkali, 7-foot weasel.
That's a good description.
Yeah, and Bunny is basically he's a motorhead. He loves his fast cars, fast planes, and he talks about anything motorsports wise.
Yeah, they asked some obscure question about like what automobile was an X movie or something like that, and Jake, without skipping a beat, was yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Like wow, he knows his stuff.
Yeah, what they were having. My son went to one of the things, and they were talking about it was roast my car.
Yeah.
And somebody had mentioned
What they were having. My son was one.
and Bunny's like, it's in a bubble in your garage, right? Well, it's in my garage in a bubble, right? It's one of these Volkswagens, like ultra rare. For this guy to actually have one is a miracle in itself. Originally sold for like $13,000, still holds a value of $10,000 no matter what the condition is. It's one of those vehicles, you know. So yeah, hopefully it's in his garage in a bubble, but it's not. So,
Yeah, I've been really enjoying the alchemy of just, there's the through line of you're a furry, but all sorts of different people are coming together, like all ages, all side
backgrounds.
interests. Yeah.
We've talked to engineers, both biomechanical, mechanical, electrical. We talked to filmmakers who are all over the place. We talked to artists, from people who actually just sew and make stuff to your full-blown webmaster, computer graphic design, 3D modeler, you name it.
Yeah.
They're
Merchants rather.
Yeah.
Mercantile.
which is an interesting thing. What did you think of the dealer's den here?
I didn't want to take up too much space in there with the pandemic going on, so I didn't really. I also don't have a whole lot of walking money right now, so I didn't.
Same here. The only reason I spent money in there is a friend of mine sent me with money. He says, find me something that I'd like.
Yeah.
So I got him a shot glass made out of leather.
A shot glass made out of leather.
Leather, yeah. But hey, it's saturated in resin.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
And the guy said he put 100% alcohol in it. 100%. It's gotta be like a 99 or something.
Yeah. How do you can't do that? Can
Yeah.
you?
Not really, no. But he's let it sit there it took 2 hours before the resin reacted, so make sure you wash it out after every use. Regular alcohol shouldn't be a problem. Hey, but it glows in the dark, so it's going to sit on a shelf. He collects shot glasses. There we go.
All right. Cool. Yeah, that's a fun gift.
Hello.
There was a tiny corner of 18 plus that I didn't. How is this an 18 plus podcast? Not
It
really.
can be, yeah.
my-
I mean, let's put it this way. 2 episodes ago, we talked about male masturbation devices, so.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, having an older brother as a furry, so my first introduction to pornographic imagery was furry porn. So I was kind of curious about that, but I didn't. Again, it was like a small corner of the room, and I didn't want to crowd it during a pandemic. So didn't get to check that out.
Oddly enough, the 2 times I actually went through the dealer's den, that was the least crowded part.
That's
Yeah.
surprising to me.
I know.
Yeah, there were a bunch of people back there when I saw through the curtain. I wish I had money because I would totally spend a lot of money in the dealer's den.
Yep.
Yeah, it was some pretty fun stuff there.
You were at the charity auction, right?
Yeah,
And now,
I caught the last of it. Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, this event is for charity. What was the most shocking thing that went up there, price-wise? Like what the actual bid was, and what was it?
So some artist was photoshopping con chair people's faces onto things and selling prints for $500 or more.
Yeah, we're talking like beefcake pictures and a calendar that should have gone for a lot more than it did.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that didn't get as much money. Some of the cooler stuff was like the original print for like badge art and like the T-shirt art.
Yep.
That Rudolph should have had more money. The hand crocheted thing
That was
would take a
disappointing.
while.
That was what, $75 or something like
If that, yeah.
And yet there was somewhere drawing that went for $2,000. It was much smaller, less time. And still, I'm not trying to diss any of the artwork because there was some really good stuff there, but it was interesting what people were willing to.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised and not entirely displeased, but just surprised by the jokes Uncle Kage was making about how they make the animal art. So it's like art that they would paint the underside of an animal and let it crawl around on the canvas.
Yeah.
And
So the organization that this con is raising money for would take some of their animals, put them in a food-safe paint, and let them walk across the canvas. These paintings one sold for what, 130, one sold for 200, and we're talking animal done art. And on the back it'd say which animal had which color. So it'd be like one's a snake and a weasel and a ferret, or weasel, ferret, same thing. 3 different animals and have the colors spread across. One of them was done by a cockatoo.
Yeah.
But the painting stressed the cockatoo out, so we started pulling his feathers again. It sold for what, $400?
yeah, it was a lot of money. We had the MC of that joking about how they would throw the animals
Yes.
against the canvas.
It's like just dip it in the color and and the turtle would splat on. Yeah.
Is funny, and it reminded me of a joke from Weird Al's UHF, but it
Which
was
joke?
most people don't know this, but turtles are nature's suction cup, and he licks the bottom of the turtle and throws it into the ceiling.
It sticks. Yes.
If you haven't seen UHF, you should watch it.
I've seen it. I just wanted you to tell them.
Yeah.
My favorite from there is today we teach poodles how to fly.
So I shouldn't be surprised that many furries have such sick and twisted senses of humor, but I was surprised that he was making that joke for a charity that is like taking in animals that people don't want. It's just gonna be so morbid as that.
Well, that's just it. A lot of the people who are on these panels, a lot of the people who come here, do have a rather twisted sense of humor in some ways, and yeah, it can go in so many different directions, all at the same time.
Yeah.
A good example was that one. Did you actually see the three-headed monster?
No, I missed that.
Okay, three-headed monster is you have three comedians up on stage fighting for the microphone for an hour. They each get a half hour. For an hour.
For an hour, okay. Yeah, all right, yeah. Quick math.
Yes. So it's funny watching them try to take over each other and talk in that manner. It really is just an excuse for them to get up on stage and drink in front of everybody. But that's Pandez, Alkali, and I don't remember the third person's name.
It was Zanny, maybe?
I think that might be it, Zanny. Yeah.
But I wasn't there. I don't know.
Yep.
Kind of sad I missed it, hearing that description of it.
Yeah.
But there's always something else going on at this
Right,
con,
right.
so you kind of have to pick and choose, unfortunately.
Yeah. And speaking of picking and choosing, what time is it? Oh, yeah. I have to go to work. I get to record the last one. They're getting ready to do closing ceremonies. So.
Oh, yeah, let's blow.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and hopefully there's a little more at the end of this, and I have time to actually split something together. Otherwise, see you in a week.